Welcome to our Fasting Friday episode of LCF Lifestyle Talk with yours truly, Diet Dr. Dr. Josephine Grace Rohotan. Ang pag-uusapan natin every Friday is about fasting at para maging successful kayo sa pag-incorporate ng fasting for healing sa ating LCF lifestyle. LCF meaning low carb and fasting. So as a short background, fasting is a major component ng ating lifestyle for healing dahil low carb is good. Hindi siya nakakadagdag ng toxin and problems in our body if we do it right, if we do it the nutrient-dense way. However, when it comes to major healing, kung meron talagang kailangang drastic and really important forms of pagpapagaling, then fasting might be necessary. Hindi rin ninyo kailangan gawin ito abruptly. Okay? There is a transition period. Mas magandang magsimula muna sa low carb and then try to listen to your body as you go along in your journey, and you will just feel na yung natural tendency ng ating katawan the moment that we are already appetite corrected ay hindi na talaga ganon ka naghahanap ng pagkain as often as before. There will still be cravings for food, but it is going to be a nutritional kind of craving. Hindi na yung craving na dahil lang sa ating isipan na namimiss lang natin yung pagkain, but it's going to be a kind of longing for food because of nutrition. And that kind of hunger, yung nutritional kind of hunger, ito yung hunger na masasatisfy ng tamang pagkain, and you will not keep on eating the whole day. So, generally, just eating once or twice a day, magiging enough na yon sa pangangailangan natin. And intermittent fasting is one of the easiest way to incorporate that kind of healing. Intermittent fasting, usually it's within 24 hours na meron tayong panahon na hindi tayo kumakain at meron ding panahon na dun lang yung tawag nating eating window. So, yung minimum natin is 12 hours. 12-12 na fasting and another 12 hours of eating. And for those who need extra healing, especially sa mga kaya pang pumayat, meron pang mga taba na pwedeng magamit, then you can even extend your fasting to 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. Right now, I'm already around my 16 hours of fasting, and I don't plan of eating. Maybe after 18 hours, doon ako kakain. So, moving on to our topic for today para sa mga matagal nang nagpa-fasting, nag-intermittent fasting, but somewhat nafe-feel ninyo na parang nag-stall yung progress, or your improvement might not be as good as others' improvement. Although we are always thinking na wag mag-compare sa journey ng iba. Always focus on yourself. Mamaya na mag-compare notes, unless of course it is just for you to improve yourself. I hope this episode will try to correct kung meron man sa tatlong major na maling ito para mai-improve ninyo at makita ninyo kung ano talaga yung amazing effect ng intermittent fasting. So, when it comes to autophagy, yung cleansing ng ating cells, it's good if you can target 18 hours of fasting. Hindi naman kailangan araw-araw. So, maybe 3 times a week or at least 2 times a week sa pagsisimula pa lang. And if you want to sustain yung benefits ng fasting sa pagpapababa ng pamamaga or inflammation sa ating katawan, pagtunaw ng mga masasamang taba sa ating katawan in the form of triglycerides, in the form of fatty liver, in the form of visceral fats, in the form of VLDL, then it is important for you to incorporate intermittent fasting. Also, lowering of blood sugar. The moment you lower your inflammation, automatic there will also be lowering of your hypertension. Okay, dami ko na nagkwento, no? So, 3 major mali sa intermittent fasting na dapat iwasan. Number 1 is, alam niyo to, but to reiterate, huwag kumain ng high carb sa breakfast. Breakfast, hindi lang ito almusal, but it is the food that you eat when you break your fast. Because Remember, the reason why we fast is to lower our insulin in the body para magkaroon muna ng correction from being insulin resistant at matapos muna yung parang tawag nating harvest season na binigay natin as signal in our body for the longest time, for decades. And when you do fasting, your body is at all-time high, highly sensitive ito sa insulin because pinababa nga natin ito, especially if you are doing it on extended fasting for the longest time. And since iniiwasan nga natin yung epekto muna ng insulin sa katawan, the moment you break your fast with high carb food, matataas sa nagpapataas ng ating blood sugar, nagpapataas din ng fructose, then you are endangering yourself from generating many oxidants and yung mga free radicals na nakaka-damage ng ating organs, nakaka-damage ng ating cells, and can even worsen inflammation. Truth be told, ang fasting hindi talaga completely nawawala yung effect nito, even if you break your fast with a high carb. Pero sayang, imagine if you have experienced 100 points of healing but only to consume high carb foods na nakakapagpataas ng insulin, and your 100 hindi natin alam, maybe it can be reduced to 10 to 20 when nasa 100 ka na sana. So those are just numbers in theory, and those are just analogy, not actual numbers. It's just I just want to share with you the effect of eating high carb breakfast. So, kapag kumain kayo ng pagkaing matataas sa sugar na instantly nag-spike ng inyong blood sugar and eventually nagsaspike din ng insulin sa katawan, then kapag patuloy nyo yung ginagawa niyan, every highs and lows of your blood sugar levels will generate more and more free radicals na yun talaga yung gusto nating iwasan. Kaya nga tayo bumibili ng mga antioxidants, kaya nga tayo parating naghahanap ng mga antioxidants when in fact hindi yan kailangan when we are not generating those free radicals. So sayang yung progress mo if you will just eat high carb for breakfast. So ano-ano yung common na pagkain na kinakain ng karamihang hindi nagiging fully successful sa kanilang intermittent fasting journey? Number one, tinapay, pandesal, at kung ano-ano pang mga panaderia na nakikita natin, breads na nabibili natin sa panaderia. Second would be fruits. Pinakauso sa Pilipinas, saging, mangga, papayang nahinog. So all of these are high in glucose and also high in fructose na even if they have vitamins and minerals, eto ay mataas din sa blood sugar na pwede pa rin magkaroon ng insulin response, especially if you've been low carb for a while or if you've been fasting for a while. Number three would be rice. So, any form of rice, of course, yung mga black, brown rice, a little better than white rice, but hindi rin sila ganon kalaki yung kanilang difference. Other forms of starch would be kamote, patatas, ube, and other root crops. So if you can avoid them, all the more, all the better, especially if hindi pa full yung healing ninyo. Other carbs would include oatmeal, granola bars, those are also very high in sugar. So fruits and fruit juices and all others na containing fructose is also as much as possible, not suggested if you want na magiging maganda yung inyong kinalabasan with your fasting. Akala kasi natin when we eat carbs, it will lead us into a form na hindi mangangayayat or parang isusupplement natin na walang sugar sa ating katawan when in fact what we want to lower is our dependence on sugar. And if we keep on eating high carbs, then all the more hindi talaga tayo mawawala sa phase that we are just consuming glucose and using glucose as energy. Ano yung isa sa risk kung kayo ay kakain ng kakaunting carbs? during your eating window and then you will fast again kasi gusto mong pumayat ka ng mabilis, you will actually tend to lose more muscles because hindi ka magja-jump into a phase na fully, parang majorly ketone metabolism na. If you keep on eating carbs, your fat burning, hindi siya full throttle. So, your body will continuously use glucose as energy, pero since konti lang yung kinakain mo because you are fasting, and if you break them with glucose, isosupplement ito ng katawan natin. It will undergo gluconeogenesis at ito ay posibleng manggaling sa ating protein na components ng ating katawan, which would include our muscles. It is important to have an adequate muscle mass, lean body mass, hindi lang sa mga lalaki, kahit sa mga babae. Kailangan meron tayong adequate muscle mass in order to really improve our health. So, yon. And of course, the worst kind na kailangan na igagamitin ninyo or kakainin ninyo to break your fast is simple sugars in the form of candies. The worst, meron pang mga sugar talaga, soft drinks, very high carb chocolates. So those are no-no. So if you've been doing that, you might notice na whenever you fast, hindi ganon ka-smooth yung fasting ninyo, hindi ganon kadali yung journey ninyo because you are actually not helping your body adapt to this way of life better and sustainably, while at the same time preserving your muscle bulk. So, kailangang iwasan na magkaroon ng high-carb breakfast because number one yan sa ating major na mali sa intermittent fasting. So, moving on to our second na mali na kailangan nating iwasan would be breaking the fast too fast. Not because we are fasting, ay fast din yung pag-break natin sa fast. Just like in a song, if you have to break it, you have to break it gently. All the more in our fasting. Kahit pa low carb yung kinakain mo, pero if sobrang bilis yung pag-break mo ng iyong fast, you can still experience those sudden gush of insulin response, and also pwede rin kayong magkaroon ng dumping syndrome na kung saan halos lahat ng kinain ninyo ay parang lalabas lang. Your gastrointestinal tract, your esophagus, stomach, small intestines, until your colon, parang magiging hollow tube, parang magiging conduit na lang siya na kung ano yung kinain mo, lahat lalabas in the form of explosive diarrhea. So, nakakahiya na, nakakasama pa sa pakiramdam, and it's really not good. You might even risk losing electrolytes even more if you break that way. So, for those who are always asking how to break your fast properly, meron tayong 4 considerations. So, number 1, as when it comes to you breaking your fast, you have to consider kung gaano katagal yung fast ninyo. The longer your fast, the gentler your breakfast should be. So, kalahati if you have been fasting for 12 hours, so you can just simply cut it short by taking a soup or bone broth, so hindi kailangan complicated. And after that one, you also have to consider the consistency of food that you will eat. So if you have been fasting for so long, then all the more na kailangan dahan-dahan muna yung ating pag-break ng ating fast. So you can start with soup, you can start even with water if galing ka sa dry fasting, and then secondly, you can now have some nutrient-dense soup. So it can be bone broth, meat broth, or you can also have even vegetable broth if you have. And if ever you are already consuming that, give it a break. Nasa 30 minutes, 20 minutes to 30 minutes, then you can already start your light proteins. So light proteins could be egg white, chicken, or fish. Or kung meat man, it should be ground, yung hindi masyadong mahihirapan yung tiyan mo sa pag-digest. Others, kung hindi pa sila prepared masyado when it comes to those proteins, if ever longer yung fast nila, you might want to introduce some probiotics because after a long fast, especially after 3, 4, 5 days fast, yung ating gut bacteria are already namatay na. So, kailangan natin silang i-replenish, kailangan natin silang buhayin. It might take time for them to be resurrected just by eating normal food. So, this is the only time that you might want to add probiotics in your meal. So, start tayo, fluids, and then bone broth, nutrient-dense fluid. So, fluid first, not nutritious fluid. You can have water, tea, coffee. Next would be the nutritious kind of fluids, bone broth, vegetable broth, meat broth. And then, kung matagal yung fast, you can have probiotics in it. So, merong mga kimchi, sauerkraut, or you can also, meron ding ibang nabibili na. But as much as possible, we go for natural. You can also have kombucha, if merong zero sugar kombucha na with live talaga na probiotics. And of course, you can also have, ano pa ba yung natin? It's the zero sugar, well-fermented unflavored yogurts. So those are the probiotic options that you can have. And after 30 minutes again, you can have your light proteins. And usually, this breakfast protocol na ito, kahit pa konti-konti lang, you will be surprised na mabubusog ka na. So you can just have a break, do something else before you will have your meal. Kasi marami sa atin yung nagpa-fasting before, 2 days fasting, 3 days fasting in preparation for a special event like merong birthday, merong anniversary, merong dinner date. When that happens, marami na yung the moment they have their major meal ay nagkaroon sila ng mga side effect. Biglang sumakit yung kanilang tiyan, kailangan nilang pumunta sa toilet. It's because nga they didn't break the fast properly. So they are breaking the fast too fast. So as a suggestion, if you have, for example, a special dinner na gusto ninyong puntahan after your long fast, then you can already start your breakfast protocol by around lunchtime. So by around lunchtime, pwede na kayong uminom ng water or bone broth. And then after 30 minutes, pwede kayong probiotic rich, something na merong probiotics, kimchi, sauerkraut, and kombucha or plain yogurt. And then after 30 minutes, kung kaya ng tiyan, so you can chew a little, maybe some vegetables or some light proteins. Hindi rin kailangang sobra-sobrang dami. Just enough to parang start the machinery. So, pakonti-konti lang para ito ay masanay. Because for the longest time that you have not fasted, ito ay hindi gumagana at para hindi ito mabigla. So you can just have a slowly but surely process. So yun yung ating 4 steps of breaking the fast. Don't ever break the fast too fast. Okay? The longer you fast, the gentler you should be in breaking your fast. And now we are down to our third major mali sa intermittent fasting na dapat iwasan, and that is, can you guess it? Yan, it's closing your eating window too late. Because if you look at the studies now, marami sa nag-intermittent fasting that they skip breakfast. However, merong study nakikita na they are prone to bangungot, na sudden death while sleeping, and it's because of this. Hindi dahil nag-skip sila ng breakfast, but it's because they are having their dinner too late. Hindi nga sila nagbe-breakfast, nag-uumad na lang sila or nagtitimad. They have their first meal 12 noon, 2 o'clock. However, they also have their dinner very late. They sleep at 12, pero yung last kain nila, halos nagme-midnight snack pa. They sleep at 10, pero by 9:30, kumakain pa rin sila. So that is a one major wrong thing that you can do na magkakaroon lang ng masamang epekto sa inyong pag-fasting. So sayang yung inyong success, sayang yung inyong sacrifice, and of course, your journey into being successful sa pag-attain ninyo ng inyong fasting goal only to neutralize the benefits by closing your eating window late. So remember our circadian fasting, basic lang. Okay? At least regardless of your duty schedule, nasa graveyard ka man or nasa morning shift or afternoon shift, remember, tapusin na yung inyong pagkain within the day, 4 to 6 hours before kayo matulog, and you can see the magic that will happen when it comes to your health improvement if you do intermittent fasting the right way. So that's our topic for today, the three major mali sa intermittent fasting na dapat iwasan. To recap, that would be eating high carb for breakfast. And number two, breaking the fast too fast. And number three, it's closing your eating window too late already. So maraming salamat everybody for tuning in. I'll see you on November 15 sa ating LCF Center private sessions in Ortigas. And of course, for those who are in Boracay or gustong pumunta ng Boracay, let's experience the summer, this rainy days. Doon tayo sa Boracay mag-meet and greet on November 29, 2022. And of course, on December 4, let's have a Christmas get-together in our LCF community. The more, the merrier. But the slots may be limited. Limited lang po ito. So kindly reserve your slot because we will hold it in our LCF Center in Ortigas. And for those na merong concern about diabetes, who want guidance, and who also doesn't want the long sessions, or especially sa mga matagal na nagsusubaybay sa atin, matagal na naglo-low carb and fasting, pero may mga questions lang na importanteng malaman sa diabetes management, I invite you to be a part of our December 6, 2022 to our Diabetes Type 2 Intensive Course. So it is a live webinar with replay po ito. So this is open both for those abroad and in the Philippines. And sa mga malapit sa Ortigas Center, there is also a few slots for live audience. But generally, this one is made for online and it's just going to be this December. So message nyo lang yung admins natin, or you can also look at www.jgrtanmd.com for more, and you can also call our text and then call our admins in these numbers. Office hours, Mondays to Saturdays. Thank you. Mondays to Fridays. So maraming salamat everybody. Always remember to stick to the safe list so that we all stay safe. That's our low carb safe list. And for those with other concerns, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune diseases, thyroid problems, those with allergies, asthma, PCOS, problems with fertility, and more, you are more than welcome to join our LCF Masterclass by yours truly for you to have a structured learning program. And of course, don't forget to share this to your family and friends. Who knows, baka kayo pa ang makatulong sa kanila to improve their health. And invite them in our free Facebook groups, Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community. Hello to our members there, more than 700,000 combined, including the ones in Life Without Rice. So maraming salamat everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your Diet Doctora, and always remember to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can see more contents in our YouTube and Facebook channels at Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo and Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo Tan, respectively. For those who wish to be guided, we have an ongoing structured learning program where we will teach you how to adapt a low-carb and fasting lifestyle for healing specific modern-day lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, cancer, fatty liver, PCOS, GERD, and many more. You can send an email to our admins or send a DM in our inbox. I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much. Stay low-carb, stay safe. Bye!